so it's me, Nicolette Mashile, and today I want to talk a little bit about investing. And I would like to leave you guys with a trick in which you can use to figure out how long you need to invest for or how much interest you need to be looking for when you are looking to invest. But remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody who is certified and registered with the FSCA, but also understands investment portfolios, guys, because remember that not every financial advisor has actually any training when it comes to investment products. So let's go straight into it. One conversation that I always get in my inbox or in my emails is, Nicolette, I have so much money and I really want to invest it. I don't want to spend it and blow it, and I want to see it grow, or I wanted to see it do 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first question that I always ask, if you have interacted with me, you would know this, is what exactly do you want your money to do? Remember, in a previous video, I spoke about the fact that a lot of people phrase this question very incorrectly and put themselves at risk of being scammed. Because what they do is they come and they say, hi Nicolette, I've got 100,000 Rand. My mother left me 100,000 Rand. Or hi Nicolette, I've got my pension fund. I paid it out. Oh, it's paid out. And I've got 250,000 Rand and I don't know where to put it. Let me tell you something. If you go around telling people those kind of things, trust me that they will find solutions for your problem. They will find solutions for your problem. Remember what I said? I personally get it in my email inbox, and most of you don't know me from a bar of cert. So I could literally say to you, "Ooh, don't worry, I've got a Forex trading friend that can double your money in less than 2 months." Or I can say, "Ooh, girl, why don't you go into something like network marketing and you'll get your returns in literally less than a year." Or I can say, "Actually, I have these friends that are selling cows or cattle, whatever you want to call it, up there in Limpopo, and they can double your money in less than 2 years." So be very, very careful what you actually say to people, because let me tell you again, if you are posing a problem that has a financial interest for somebody, they will find you a solution. So remember to phrase the question a little bit differently and say, this is what I want my money to do. How do I get it to do that? Or which investment vehicle should I then be looking at? All right. So there's a rule called the rule of 72. And basically the rule of 72, what it does allow you to do, it allows you to approximate how long it would take you to double your money. Now you guys know that I am terrible at maths. I got an E in maths higher grade when I was in high school. So I've got a calculator to help me with the rule of 72. So how does the rule of 72 work? Well, the rule of 72 works with compound interest. Basically what it says is that you will be given a certain interest rate by the financial institution where you will be saving or investing your money, right? And that compounding interest, as long as you keep your money for a certain amount of years, it will potentially double up. And remember what I just said, or please highlight the fact that I said it will potentially double up, because obviously there are shortcomings when it comes to the rule of 72. So let's take an example, for instance. And remember that it is compounding interest, which means you are earning interest on interest, because it's originally the money that you've already put into the account, the interest that money earns, and then the interest over all the money that's now in your account, the principal amount plus the earned interest, and now the new interest, right? So it's literally earning interest on and your simple interest, right? So anyway, let's say for instance a financial institution says to you, you know what, we're going to give you an annual compounding interest rate of 8%. 8%. So if you want to figure out how long it will take any amount of money to double up, you would need to take the rule of 72, which is then 72. So you would need to put into your calculator 72, right? Divided by 8, and you will get, no, that's wrong. 72 divided by 8, and you would get 9 years. I don't know if you can see it upside down on your phone, on the screen, but you know how it is in this house. Some things are technologically challenging for me. So it means that it would take you 9 years to double your money. Right? Let's take another example. Let's say, for instance, you go out and look for a mutual fund or some sort of balanced growth fund, and they promise you a return of 12%. You would take 72 and you would divide it by 12, and you would get 6 years. So it would take you 6 years to double your money at a compounding interest rate of 12%, remembering that you need to reinvest all the compounded interest that you actually make. Right? So what does that actually mean? It means that you must not withdraw the money that gets compounded, the interest that you are actually earning. You need to put it back into the account so that the whole idea of compounding actually does kick in. I hope that makes a lot of sense. What are some of the shortcomings when it comes to the rule of 72? Well, number one, the rule of 72 assumes that there is no other factor that is coming into play when you are actually investing or saving your money. What does that actually mean? What I mean is that the rule of 72 works on pure maths and pure numbers. So it does not take into account the fact that sometimes the market might not work out. So you might not be able to guarantee that 12% every single year, right? Even though the mutual funds say it has potential to earn 12%, 12% is not always a guarantee. And we've seen this many times where the market does not do very well. For instance, listed property last year did minus 28%. Now, if you were promised a 12% return on your listed property last year, ooh, you saw something else happen last year in South Africa, right? So that's basically one thing that the rule of 72 does not take into account. Other factors that may come into play. The second factor that may come into play is tax. You gotta pay tax. Unfortunately, you've gotta pay tax. And if you're an individual in South Africa and your tax return income is more than 23,800, you will pay tax on anything up and above that. So that also comes into play that nobody ever really speaks about. So if you have put in 100,000 rand, and basically what you were saying is that over 6 years, if you're getting 12%, right? It is 6 years, right? Over 6 years, if you're getting 12%, you are doubling that money. It means that you might potentially start paying tax at some level of that 6 years, which then means that money, that doubling up effect kind of wears away, because now you're no longer getting double your amount, you're getting it double minus the money that you've got to pay SARS, right? And I think the last thing that the rule of 72 does also not take into account is a thing called risk. Remember, there is no guarantee unless you've got a guaranteed fixed amount, fixed interest rate that perhaps maybe a bank has given you. Most of the other investment vehicles will never ever be able to give you that kind of guarantee that you will get a certain amount of money. The only other place where you can get a guarantee is if you go into what is called an investment contract. An investment contract basically is with one of the financial institutions, generally a bank, and you would be sitting with them and putting together the rates up front because it's a contract and not necessarily just a fund that's dependent on the market and what the market pushes out after the maturity of the actual fund. The other thing that you could potentially look at that does not really have the kind of speculation is livestock, because remember how livestock actually grows, right? You've got cattle, they mate, and they have calves. So that's how so today you might have one cow, tomorrow you might have 2 cattle, in 4 or 5 months you might have 7 cattle because your cattle have given birth to calves, right? I hope that's what they call cow children, guys. What are cow children called? Cows, whatever. Yeah, so if you are looking to do basic maths in terms of figuring out how long it will take you to double your money when you are investing, use the rule of 72. So you take 72 and you divide it by the interest rate that you are being offered or the interest rate that you might potentially look at and figure out how much or how long it will take to double you. There is other maths that you can do with the rule of 72. So basically you can say, I have got 5 years to save my money. How much interest, okay. So, I'm getting excited there. So you would say, I have 5 years that I can save or invest my money for. And I want my money to double up. So then, how much interest should I be looking for? Right? So you would then take the rule of 72 again, 72, and you would divide it by 5, and it would give you 14.4%. And then you would go out and look for investments that can give you an interest rate of 14.4%. So that's basically how it would work. If you say I've got 10 years, you would say 72 divided by 10 years, it will give you 7.2. You need to find an interest rate that gives you 7.2%. So that's basic, or an investment fund that gives you 7.2%. I hope that video really does help you in figuring out how long it will take you to double your money or how much interest rate you need to look for to double your money in a certain amount of years. The one thing I need to point out is that the rule of 72 does become a little bit inaccurate as the interest rate become higher and higher and higher. So for instance, if you want to double your money in less than 5 years, basically you would say 72, probably divide by 16, and you would get 4.5. So you would need to look for investment that can give you 16%. And as I said, it becomes really a little bit inaccurate as the interest rate becomes higher and higher and higher. Thank you very much and goodbye.